All right, so let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. I mean, I'm amazed that Kimberly does as much as she does in terms of communication. It's kind of it always felt to me a bit of kind of an honor that she would share so much of what's happening for her. Anyway, because most people would just kind of crawl into a little hole and just be there, but she's right out there with everything. It's interesting. All right, let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture and have both feet flat on the floor, about a hip's width apart, and align your shoulders with your hips and your ears with your shoulders. And imagine your spine is this beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And imagine you're lengthening your spine, putting some space in between the vertebrae. Bring your attention to the crown of the head and relax your scalp. Just release any tension there, the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, the back of the head, the neck, and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Be aware now of the sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. Nostrils, the chest cavity, or belly. And just, through the meditation, just choose like one to as a focus. I mean, we're reciting, so this is probably more appropriate for if you're doing a meditation. I mean, this is still meditation, so just focus on one area. Just the breath is like home. It's like a landing place. It's with you all the time until our last breath. Be aware of sound in your environment, just allowing the sounds to be there, the sensory information to be there, trying not to investigate it or allowing it to distract you too much. And then try and put some space in between your thoughts. And check in with yourself and see how you are now compared to, let's look around about 12, 14 hours ago when we did our last meditation. What happened today? What happened in the last, half day or more for you? And then notice as the thoughts arise, just notice if there's any emotion or feeling there associated with those thoughts. And notice if it's taking you off in a tangent, whether those thoughts, whether that story serves you at all. And then just be curious about it all. Try not to judge or have opinions. You're just looking at it kind of objectively. And then bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones, your strangers, the ones you don't particularly like. Keeping in mind that all of our relationships are, due to impermanence, due to karma, these groups of people can be interchangeable in our lives. And regardless, they're all equal. They're just like you and me. They want to be happy. They don't want to suffer, and they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So Lama Yeshe was very, very clear about saying there is no negativity that can't be purified. I can't recall, I was, many, many years ago, I went out to Sierra Conservation and Rehabilitation Center, which is a very fancy, nice name for a prison. It did not look, how it looked didn't kind of fit the name. There were several layers of security and barbed wire and very pretty solid looking fencing that we had to get through to get to the chaplain's room. But those men that came to the meditation, this Vajrasattva meditation meant so much to them because they realized there was something they could do to amend what they'd done. And the Vajrasattva meditation wasn't going to get them out of prison. But for them, just the idea of sort of regret and being able to deal with, the consequences of what they've done was enormously meaningful for them. And I don't remember telling them there is no negativity that can't be purified. And I kind of now regret that. I wish I had. But anyway, that was Lama Yeshe's big deal. So, even without saying that, those prisoners were really happy. They felt so relieved to have this practice. Because they were in prison with nothing and no one. Quite frequently, they get abandoned. So we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And just think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then just regret kind of everything. So regret's very different for guilt. I heard Venerable Rabina talking the other day about guilt being more of an anger towards yourself. But regret doesn't have that kind of energy about it. It's more about taking responsibility. I regret, and then what can I do? Guilt's like I'm just a really bad person. Regret has an energy of action in there somewhere. Anyway, to me it does. So the reason we want to regret, it's based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past actions, our past karma. So if we've done negative actions, it makes sense that we would want to pull out those karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we have two sections here. The first is refuge, and we rely upon Buddha Vajrasattva. who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha to forgive us, we're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you see him more like a doctor and the practice as a medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell, representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I am enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So then we have this little section on developing compassion. So we need to rely upon other beings to develop compassion. We need something to work with. So we think about these people, these beings that we have harmed, and just have a wish for them to be free from suffering. And then think about people who've harmed you, and particularly for these ones, the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, light coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Mebowa Situkaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hom pe, vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, trida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita trida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satva A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So now we have the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space. Not one atom left. So you imagine all the gossip, all our inappropriate speech, all our useless speech, and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Trita meboa Sitokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Trita meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Trita meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Trita meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So now be so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything that could harm another person with your speech, only to benefit them. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it happens as instantly as when you walk into a room and flick on a switch. The light that comes instantly dispels the darkness of the negativity of the mind, all your depression, anger, bitterness, grudges, anxiety, all this kind of disappointment, vitriol, wish to harm, all of these things instantly dispelled, not one atom left. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hom pe, vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, drita meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So now be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our unsuffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are now totally purified. They're gone. And now imagine that there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness, compassion, wisdom, and bliss. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So you imagine Vajrasattva very happily sends light and nectar. So the nectar flows down, pushing out all the negativities of the body, and then it flows up, pushing out all the negativities of the speech. And then the light comes and instantly dispels the negativities, the darkness of the mind. And just like that, even the subtlest imprints of negative energy have been eradicated from the mind. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anurakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Drita Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anurakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Judo meboa, Sitokai meboa, Sipokai meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiata sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Guruhum ha ho Bhagawan, Sawatata gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva ahompe, Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasafa Dina Patita, Judo meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiata sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Guruhum ha 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 Bhagawan, Sawatata gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva ahompe, Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasafa Dina Patita, Trida meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiata sawakama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 Bhagawan, Sawatata gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva ahompe, Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasafa Dina Patita, Trida meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiata sawakama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 Bhagawan, Sawatata gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva ahum pe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process, and it's a really crucial one. This is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. So without making a decision to do something, we're just going to repeat our habits. So like we have to create new habits, more positive habits, and create new neural pathways. So rejoice in your efforts for coming along tonight, today, this morning, and think about something you would like to work on. Don't make it too complicated, just something simple. And then imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So let's think a little bit about emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. There is no negative karma created. So whatever level your mind understands emptiness, place it there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings and think, may all the virtuous karma I have created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. Okay, let's just do on chanting the names of Manjushri. Oh, I was trying to move your text, but Shayla's in control of the text. With Vajra arrows serving as his weapon, his sword comprised of Vajras slashing all, upholding every Vajra bearing, with just a single Vajra ending strife. With eyes like Vajra fire, truly dreadful, with hair that's like a Vajra set ablaze, immersion of the Vajra, great immersion, with eyes like Vajra's eyes 100-fold, with Vajra hairs that sprout upon his body, his unique figure marked by Vajra hairs, with nails advancing Vajras at their tips, with skin that's solid like a Vajra's core. Some of these are a little dramatic. They're quite good. I feel like I'm reading Shakespeare or something. Pretty cool. There's power in there. Okay, everybody, let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long and a swift discovery of Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation, and then think about your own personal teachers and just have a wish for them to live long, happy, healthy lives. All right, everybody. So nice to see you all. Thank you for hosting, Shayla, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Bye,
Venerable.
everyone.